Howdy, it's Liz again, and I'm back with another video for the ABC April Junk Journal Challenge by Dear Julie. And one of the mini challenges within this challenge was to make a mini book, which has to have enough pages for the letters of the alphabet. And so that by the time you fold them in half, that's about 8. So I have been picking papers for that, and we don't know what we're going to do with that yet. There will be further embellishing and other challenges having to do with it. So I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages and a cover. This is a mini file folder that I really like the look of. Haven't had the opportunity to use yet, so I'm going to use that. And that measures about 4 inches, a little more than 4 inches, 4 1/4 to the fold here. So I think I will cut my papers down to a 4 1/4 width by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 1/4 by 6. That leaves me a little bit all the way around. So here are my pages. This one is a heavy piece of craft paper, and these are already folded. I take a lot of my pages from my junk journals and fold them so that they're ready to go. The map paper. I got a couple of writing papers because I think there may be some writing involved, and I really like this. My color scheme for this journal is green, brown, and craft colored. And I probably will end up spraying some of these to make them a little bit darker. So, what did I say, 4 1/2 by 6? That was 6. Cut it to 4. 4 by 6. All right, get the cutter out. And I had just done a review of this cutter as I was cutting the papers for this. I didn't mention that one of the things that I like is that you don't have to unfold the table all the way if you don't need it. So, since I'm only cutting things to 4 by 6, we're good. And some of these are going to be a little bit smaller. And I noticed this one had a kind of crooked edge. And having said that, I'm not going to need the table. I think I am. No sooner spoken than contradicted myself. All right, because the 6 inches mark is on the bottom of the table. I think we'll cut off the boring bits. I love going to garage sales and getting road atlases. If I can get them for $1/4, I'm just in heaven. Those are one of my favorite things to put in. They're oversized pages. Let's trim. I wanted to keep this picture, so I'm going to cut this side first. How far into the picture does that take me? And not very far. Sometimes when I've folded something that I want to use the image on, then I need to go back and refer to it a couple of times to make sure I'm not chopping off too much of that image, which means that my scraps are smaller and they may get thrown away. All right. This is a heavier weight, and I think I'm going to keep the edges long and fold over some pockets. Do I care which end I cut from? Not really. But I have a little bit more blue than pink, so I think I'll cut this here. All right. This one I love, love, love the pictures of the trees. It's very green in my book. And there, you can't see it, but there's a shiny flower. Well, maybe you can see it a little bit right here on this page, which I'd like to keep as much of as possible. But this is a little bit tall. I have to take 2 inches off. Ooh. We'll start at the bottom. Yeah, that's good. Got the whole poem on here still, but it's too tall by 3/4 of an inch. Sometimes I hate making those decisions. All right, we're gonna take the last line of the poem. For anybody who's looking at this journal later, the last line of the poem, it is good, still you cry when artistry is found. Okay, there you go. And let's get this down to 6. We still have lots of goodness on our trees. Oh yes, we do. All right, I like that. And this has a religious quote on the bottom. We're gonna chop that baby off. But it has tone-on-tone flowers on this page, which I quite like. I have said this in other videos, but I live near one of the largest, if not the largest, religious publishing company in the country. And one of the things that I am always finding at thrift stores is religious books. And sometimes I find the same books over and over and over again. Because they're printed locally, they end up, a lot of people buy them. There are a lot of religious bookstores here because, hey, they happen to print religious books. So I get a lot of the same books over and over again. I know I'm going to trim off the fuzzies, but I can see that this edge is crooked, so that's going to go. Which, if you like the books and you've got a use for them, is great, because you know that you can find multiples of them, which occasionally I have. And then I also, my parents' church replaced their hymnals. I got a couple of the old ones to use. And I like some hymnals more than others. I like the ones that have lots of densely packed music in them. They don't all. A lot of the newer hymns, particularly, don't have a lot of verses. And so instead of getting 4 lines of text, you get 1 line, and they're spaced pretty far out because they're all trying to get them on a certain size page. So I like to keep them as much of the music as possible. Because I like the notes. So that looks pretty good. This one's my problem child. My husband printed this paper years and years and years ago. And it is printed in the center. What I wanted was a lined paper to go in the journals because I like writing on lines. So I think I'm going to fold this in half, and it's just going to have to be written on sideways, and that's the way it is. But that gives me, since it's centered in the page, it gives me lines on one side and the cat and the tree on the other. And this one is going to need to be sprayed because it is very white. Ah, that's perfect. Got that cut off right underneath the kitty cat. So let's see. You'll see me taking conservative bites from both sides so that I can try to get them so they're sort of even. So that is close to even, and I know it's just a little bit over 6 inches, so we'll trim this down to 6 and call it good. Alright, so I have a couple of sheets I'm going to fold over and make some pockets. This one needs to be folded. So I'll have lined paper going in 2 different directions, which adds to the crazy junk look of the book. And I have a couple of colored papers. So let's see, if we start off with a light color cover, let's go with this one. And I think we'll do sort of a fold that open to reveal that. And then a piece of lined paper and a piece of colored for the map. And then let's go with the birdies and the green paper. This one's going to have pockets as well. See if I can get that right side up in here. Maybe I want to leave that for the middle. Yeah, I'm going to leave that for the middle because it's heavier, and in the middles I like to leave, where possible, a heavier piece of paper. I'm going to spray this, so this will be a different color. Leave a heavier piece of paper in the middle so that your binding doesn't pull out. Okay, so everybody's the right height. I'm going to fold these over to make little pockets, and then we should be good. I may need to trim the back of this one because I can see that peeking through. Okay, I quickly got out my scoreboard and scored those other edges, so I just want to do a quick flip through before I end this video, awaiting further developments on the mini book. My lovely little butterfly file folder, and pretty pictures with the trees that we managed to save the trees, some lined paper, the map, the birds, grid paper, hymnal, the kitty, and this is going to be our centerfold here. I got pockets on either side. I haven't bound this yet because I'm not sure what kind of embellishing they're going to have us do in this mini book as part of the little challenges. So I've got the bones, and I'm going to leave that there until I find out what else I'm doing. Love these books. All right. Thanks so much for looking. Stay tuned for the continuing adventures of the ABC April Challenge and the mini book.